Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfanine. So we have a lot of news to get through today. There are chapters in the video. If you feel free to jump around, little XRP, little XLM news, Algorand, Hbar. If you enjoy any part of this video, please click that little like button down below. I humbly ask, I would greatly appreciate that. So we're going to begin here with this article on zcrypto.com, and it is titled, Metrics Point to Strong Bullish Cases for XRP in 2023 as Landmark Ruling in Ripple versus SEC Lawsuit Nears. I believe it's beyond bullish, in my humble opinion, especially because we know that there's so many institutions on the side waiting to jump in. So theoretically, there's two possibilities when that case ends. One, we start to see institutions jump in little by little. So everything happens in degrees and we continue on with that mode of logic. Two, the second possibility, they jump in all at the same time and then you see an explosion in that price, essentially ripping the possibility of getting retail out of getting XRP out of most of retail's hands. There is that possibility, but we will adjust our thinking accordingly as we watch the catalyst and continue to think logically about this, and they'll show us what they're doing as we see activities on chain, as we see different partnerships develop. I think a lot is going to take off very quickly once that case is over. We're very close. They said what? They said about February or March, the case could be over. There's no guarantees in that. Of course, you got to keep that in mind. Legal system is very tricky, but they did say around February or March, and I hope that happens. I want to see XRP take off as fast as possible. I want this stuff to go off now, but we have to remain patient, of course. And I do understand everything happens in degrees, more times than it does meteorically, right? So let's continue on here to another article. Of course, going over that, it made me think about how many different backers we have when it comes to XRP. But it's been so much FUD, but we're not going to cover the FUD. But to contrast all the negative FUD that individuals have been throwing lately, I mean, let's go over who we're backed by. We're on the Faster Payments Council of the United States, Faster Payments Task Force of the United States, the federal government of the United States. We're on the Digital Euro Association, Digital Pound Foundation. We're on the advisory board of the International Monetary Fund. Don't you ever forget that. That's going to be key. That's going to be very key. So we're there. So we have backings from central banks. We have the backing of governments. We have the backing of public banks, private banks. Private banks are going to be key also because they create value. They create money. Every time they issue a loan, they're creating money. That's private money as opposed to central banks, public money. All right. And then those two intermingle. So we have that backing also. That's going to be powerful. Then on top of that, you have institutions like MIT backs us up and a myriad of the bank coins. They've run tests. And not only have they run tests, but correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they've also worked with the, maybe it wasn't MIT. MIT is working with the Fed. All of these relationships are so intertwined. It's unbelievable. MIT working with the Fed, of course, but the Fed is working with the Bank of International Settlements, who set up that new hub in New York City. Remember that? So you have all of it. Then you have Algorand and what was the other company that was Algorand was assisting MIT? Maiden Labs. Oh yes. Oh, I remembered. You have Maiden Labs and you have Algorand all in there with MIT, putting together those information PDFs and documents for the Fed to take a gander at in order to understand how to utilize these systems. So we have that backing as well. But then you also have other prestigious institutes like Harvard backing us up, which leads me to the next article here. If you want to read this, this is from Harvard Law. So it's reputable. All right. They put this out on December the 6th, 2022. It's titled, Why Crypto Assets Are Not Securities. Not securities. All right. Very, very good paper, in my humble opinion. But never forget that also And it tells you exactly what they're saying in the entirety. And they have a lot of different references here as to why crypto assets are not securities. And they go by case law, right? And precedents that have been set. But never forget that also Harvard had at one time put out a document where they called, I'm going to read you the actual title. Harvard, Ripple XRP, and Stellar Lumens XLM will be the backbone of payment system of the future. Now, that document was put out last summer. Maybe some of you didn't read it. If you get a chance, give that document a read. It's a very good one. First bullet point on the article, which I'm going to suppose that this new article came out because maybe there was an update or such like that. I know Harvard is teaching classes on blockchain, so it may be logical that there's an update on this type of information. First bullet point, the Harvard report explains how Ripple and Stellar can facilitate faster settlements of CBDCs worldwide. I told you they need us. That's an important part about some of these documents. Why you should save them and go over them, keep them, screenshot them. Here's your evidence. Here's your proof. Then you make up your own mind about how you feel about these particular assets. Nobody has to tell you. You can make up your own mind, right? But they need us for settlement. They need us for interoperability. They need us for liquidity. But if that were to happen, what does it do to that price? Logically, the price will have to go up significantly. Can't be dirt cheap. Didn't David Schwartz tell you? Can't be dirt cheap for what they're trying to do. Second bullet point, Ripple's XRP and Stellar Lumens have thus become, this is Harvard telling you this, have thus become a go-to choice for several international businesses, right? I wasn't going to read this article actually, because, but I was led to this by the new, that new why crypto assets are not securities document. And then I remember this one here. It says, but I just want to read this little tidbit because it's still powerful information. You have a reputable source saying such a thing, right? Although, here it is. In the report, author Jayesh Mehta, so if you want to look up that document, you can. Jayesh Mehta mentions that blockchain technology has become mature enough to handle fiat currency in the digital format. Interestingly, the report also mentions that the blockchain networks like Ripple and Stellar Lumens have seen growing acceptance while becoming the preferred choice for international businesses. Now, I don't know why it says several international businesses up top. We have much more than that. Much more than that. But then I understand that the etymology of the word several could mean much more than just a few. It could mean a great deal of them, right? But that's not how most people will read that. I want people to really get the impact of this. But when they put it here, the preferred choice for international businesses, now that's how I like to hear it put, right? We're in the big game. It says, besides, the report also goes on to explain how these two blockchain platforms can facilitate instant CBDC settlements worldwide while leveraging the power of AI and machine learning. So when you read this document, you're hearing them talk about MBDCs, MCBDCs. But let's continue on from here. I don't want to get too deep into this, right? But it gets me excited every time I hear that. So we have Harvard backing us. That was the point of that. So when you're coming across this FUD nonsense, consider the sources, right? Consider who backs us. All the reputable sources, all the banks, governments, Harvard, MIT, on and on and on of reputable institutions. And then you have one or two people out there, most of them are from other blockchain companies, saying these negative, ignorant things with nothing to back up what they're saying. And they don't even have any powerful partnerships. So, just sometimes you just have to ignore the ignorant, right? So now let's continue on here. Then we have this little Algorand news here. And it's a tweet and it says here, at Abris_IO, they do a great job when it comes to NFTs and such. At Abris_IO launched Licit, a Web3 verifying platform for digital assets on Algorand. It says verification of all types of digital assets with the power of blockchain and artificial intelligence. I always said that was going to be a powerful combination. And now Algorand has it. Algorand continues to dominate and do a great job. Man, they've opened up 2023 with a bang. They really have. Just taking off running. So then we have another tweet here from Algorand, and it goes as such. It says 1 billion transactions. Quote, the Algorand blockchain has just processed its 1 billionth transaction thanks to a period of sustained high load, and the network behaves smoothly as it is built for. This is, unquote, Gary Malouf, head of engineering. Then it says, Algo fam, stay tuned for a surprise soon. So then we have this article here that was retweeted by Stellar from MoneyGram. It is about their Techstars program they have going on. And it's titled, Techstars Payments Powered by Stellar and MoneyGram announces 2023 class. But I want to scroll down and get to one in particular. Now, this is what I like to hear from Stellar. This company is called Mox. It says Mox is the infrastructure that connects financial entities to consumers and their paychecks. Now, that's what I want to hear, Stellar. Yes, let's get a high volume. Possibly, I know it happens over time. These are infrastructures. I know everything happens in degrees. So I'm being logical here. But let's get a high volume going. Paychecks can bring that. This is only going to grow and expand. And let's get a high value going. Look, they're people paychecks, so it's going to be higher than the value that's moved across Stellar right now. And if that's the case, what does it do to that price? Every account on Stellar must hold a modicum or a minimum of lumens, whatever you want to phrase that. Lumens are also used for transaction fees. There can be surge pricing if there's enough congestion. So all congestion is good. So I love to see things like this. This is very good. So now let's read this little tidbit here. It says, we interconnect a variety of HR and ERP systems and provide a universal payroll API. Our use cases include income and employment verification, direct deposit switching, and paycheck linking. So this is interesting. We'll keep an eye on this, right? And then they have other offerings like this, like Pacta. It says, is for the underserved consumers in Latin America that send small amounts of money every day but struggle to understand crypto neobanks. We are a super UX friendly app that allows them to pay in one transaction using blockchain as a backend. So this is all very good. This is a lot of good volume, possibly in the future. This is a lot of good congestion, so I'm paying close attention to this. Stellar is expanding slowly and quietly, but you just have to keep your eyes open and you can see what's coming. They're getting deep in Latin America also. I told you, keep an eye on Africa and Latin America. I'm telling you, that's where the corridors that haven't been accessed before, most of them are there. And these two places are going to be exploding in the future. This is why all the central banks want into these regions as well. A lot of untapped potential. Then also, like I always say, do not underestimate the tokenization of everything, right? So you have a lot of good offerings here that can bring good congestion and good value to the chain. Of course, we keep an eye on that. We adjust accordingly, right? And everything happens in degrees. But this is very, very good. You have things like here, LendMe is the first subscription-based, fully automated peer-to-peer lending platform offering short-term and crypto-backed loans. We serve and connect borrowers with financial institutions, lending businesses, and individuals, all via an app. So more good possible good value, good volume. So, we'll keep an eye on all of this. So more Stellar news here, right? So we know that Stellar is working with a myriad of banks around the world. Some of them haven't even been announced yet because we did, and I always keep this in mind that Denell Dixon in that live interview that you can still watch on YouTube today. I forgot who it was with, but a lot of people out there, they know that maybe they'll put it in the comment section. I don't know. But Denell said that central banks had been coming to them, that she'd had multiple discussions with central banks. So there's even banks they haven't announced yet. She never specified which central banks, right? So anyway, one bank that we do know about is Icici Bank. And I like to get updates on the health of these banks, how much value is moving through them. Of course, we know in India is expanding rapidly and they're going to continue to do well into the future. Icici Bank is using Stellar for payments of all kinds as far as what I know. Of course, this is going to be something that's up and running in the future as Icici Bank is rapidly moving over to digital payments. And the new financial system is still being put together. So that we do know. But here, let's take a look at Icici Bank. So standalone assets, 14 billion. I'm going to round some of these numbers, all right? 14 billion rupees standalone assets. 383 billion core operating profit. 233 billion profit after tax. 474 billion net interest income. We can round this up to 11 billion. 11 billion period in deposits. So they're doing very well. Keep in mind, this is only going to grow as India continues to become a greater power in the world, right? So then let's take a look over here in this section. It's Icici Bank at a glance. iMobile Pay, built for all, built for scale. 6.3 million activations of iMobile Pay. Now, just imagine if and when they start to convert things over fully to the Stellar system and true digital payments, not e-money payments. Mostly what these banks are doing now is e-money payments. But imagine when they switch over to digital payments, right? And you have 6.3 million possible users on Stellar, right? In addition to whatever Stellar has now. That would be good. That would be good, in my humble opinion. I think that definitely could bring a good volume, a good amount of value, good congestion, and that could definitely affect that price. No guarantees, and this is not financial advice, but this is how I'm looking at these things, right? And of course, everything happens in degrees and over time, right? So I think this looks very, very good. This bank is looking very healthy, in my humble opinion. UPI transactions was 2.3 times as compared to fiscal 2021. So you're even seeing an increase in that way. So they're doing pretty good. So now let's move on here. So then we have this little tweet here from Hbar. And it's from Blade Wallet. It says, we are immensely proud to announce that Blade has partnered with LG Electronics, the LG Electronics team, to unlock the power of Web3 and deliver an integrated solution for simple, seamless, and secure transacting on its curated art NFT marketplace. This is good. I told you, see, so Hbar is getting involved with a lot of powerful big entities that could bring a lot of good value to the chain, a lot of good congestion. I think they're going to really expand exponentially into the future with how many different ways that these businesses are going to be utilizing Hbar. So, I mean, LG, this is a great addition to the Hbar ecosystem, in my humble opinion, as far as the utilization of this particular wallet for LG Electronics and for their curated NFT marketplace. This could be big. So, we'll keep an eye on this, but I like to see any activity happening with the bank coins. They're always moving forward, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So now we have this next tweet here. This is from Hbar. It says, why did Avery Dennison integrate Hbar into their connected product cloud, Atma.io? Chief Innovation Officer Nicholas Callisto speaks to CIO Online on the importance of transparency, governance, and single source of truth when it comes to utilizing data. So let's find out who Avery Dennison is. At Avery Dennison, we are a global material science company specializing in the design and manufacture of a wide variety of labeling and functional materials. So they are major. This is very, very good. Hbar continues to bring in the big partnerships, prestigious partnerships. And I think that this will only continue to increase. I think 2023 is going to be a very good year for the bank coins. It already has. Look, 2023 has just begun, and already we're seeing all of this activity, and I'm thoroughly satisfied so far. Just my humble opinion, right? Everybody's been doing very, very well. So we just have to ignore a little bit of the FUD, hope for a positive outcome to the SEC case, and then we'll know which direction we're going in from there. And so far, it looks very positive. Just my humble opinion, not financial advice. All right. So now let's continue on here. We have this article here. This is from CoinGate.com. They've been doing a great job. Make sure you check them out. And it's about Quant. It says, here's how much your $1,000 investment in Quant will be worth if Quant reaches $500. You do know that. Do they know that Quant's all-time high was close to $500 already? Was it like $463? It was somewhere around there. I expect Quant to far exceed its all-time high, but this is my humble opinion. And that's based on how many different banks Quant has the possibility to work with. But maybe they're just playing it safe and they want to be very, very conservative about their estimation. You do know that do these article writers know that Quant reached north of $200 in the bloody bear market? But anyway, let's continue on here. Let's read this little tidbit here and see what they're talking about. Quant price prediction with a market capitalization of 1.3 billion. Not that that matters. Quant is currently trading at $110.56. That's nothing. We're still up, by the way. Bought a ton of Quant at around $40. We're doing good, looking real good. Muy linda, mi gente. We're looking really good. Its prices have declined 0.48% in the last 7 days and 14% in the last 30 days. According to Coin Codex's technical analysis, investor sentiment around Quant is bearish. What? All right, but okay. Anybody who really understands Quant is not bearish on Quant. Knowing how important Q&T is to Overledger. Q&T literally is Overledger. You can't have the one without the other. And Overledger is going to just dominate because nobody wants to use bridges. Bridges have been getting hacked across the board. Look it up. That puts Quant in a beautiful position, in my humble opinion. So it says they forecast that the Quant price will range between $172 and $517. That's a heck of a range by 2025. All right. $220 and $1,147 by 2026. That's a heck of a leap. But okay, all right. You're starting to talk my language a little bit. And $282 and $2,546 by 2027. I think it'd be a little higher than that, but I see where you're going here. You're giving a little, you're staying very safe and conservative. I get it. I understand that, right? And so the people don't come after you with the pitchforks later. I get it. I understand. So that's their price prediction for Quant. How much money would you make if Quant hit $500? Let's say you invest $100 in Quant today, Q&T today. At the price, at the current price, which is $110, you will get approximately 0.9 Q&T tokens. If you hold and sell these when Quant hits $500, you could make $452. Why would you just, I don't know. Let's continue on here. Now let's assume you invest $1,000 in Quant today. At today's market price, you will have approximately 9 coins. If liquidated at the price of $500, your $1,000 investment will be worth approximately $4,500. So, you know, this is very interesting. If you want to read the rest of this article, check out coingate.com. They have a lot more to this here. They've been doing a great job. Okay, this was on their front page. So now let's continue on here. So we have a little bit of wheat news, all right? We got to cover the futures every once in a while. I like it. It's fun for me. Wheat, corn futures hit 2-week lows on demand concerns. U.S. wheat and corn futures set 2-week lows on Wednesday as concerns about weakening demand hung over commodity markets. Investor worries about economic headwinds, including the impact of a surge of redacted, right? We're going to play safe. We're encouraging selling in commodities, analysts said. Wheat continues to give up its recent rally as Black Sea wheat pressures export markets. Brokerage CHS Hedging said most actively traded wheat futures were down 29 cents at $7.46 and a half a bushel by 12:48 p.m. CST. At Chicago Board of Trade, the contract earlier reached its lowest price since December 19th at $7.44 and a half. Traders are also focused on a severe drought in Argentina, the world's largest exporter of soy oil and soy meal, which has taken attention from favorable crop prospects in Brazil. The Buenos Aires Grains Exchange said last week that Argentina's estimated wheat production could be slashed further in coming weeks. So it's something that we'll just pay attention to. You know, of course, adjust accordingly. Catalysts are super important when it comes to futures, obviously. You know, so we'll just keep an eye on everything. You know, nothing we haven't seen before. Just my humble opinion, nothing we haven't seen before. We've been through so many different rough patches. It's okay. Let's continue on here. So then we have this is from sharecast.com, and it's titled, U.S. opens open stocks reversed Tuesday's losses ahead of FOMC minutes. So now let's read this little tidbit here. It says, as of 14:35 GMT, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.35% at 33,253.79, while the S&P 500 advanced 0.50% to 3,843.41, and the NASDAQ Composite came out the gate. You trying to be cool? What do you mean came out the gate? You trying to be cool? Came out the gate 0.77% firmer at 10,466.72. The Dow opened 117.42 points higher on Wednesday, easily reversing modest losses recorded in the previous session, as major indices struggled for direction on the first trading day of the new year. Positive inflation data out of Europe was boosting sentiment. Yeah, look, everything is going to be hanging on any of these central banks information, jobs information, inflation information. I think everybody is becoming very familiar with that. So there's going to be these fluctuations, and the world as a whole is heading into what could be a global recession. I believe we've been in a global recession already. I think it's more like a global depression because of how many different job losses there are. So I think the more pressure that's going to be put on the markets, as well as just the regular everyday life of people, they're going to be looking more and more into this data, and they're coming to the understanding of, hey, these things are going to go up and down, up and down. We have to stay privy of the information. You see people are watching the news a little bit more, watching Catalyst a little bit more. You can't really hang loose anymore. So, I think that the understanding of these things is being grasped at this point. So now let's continue on here. This is from TradingView.com, and it is titled, Gasoline Margins Dip as Exports Slow. Northwest European gasoline refining dropped to about $12.10 a barrel on Wednesday, with exports from the region set to slow in January. Gasoline exports from Europe to the United States have reached about 365,000 tons so far in January, compared with a total of 746,000 tons in December. Refinitiv shipping data shows. Exports to West Africa are so far set at 180,000 tons in January, compared with nearly 1 million tons in December, owing to logistical issues in top importer Nigeria. The government has released 18.99 million tons of quotas to cover mostly gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel exports, up 46%. So now this is on TradingView.com. Make sure you head over there. They have a lot of good information still here on this this article. All right. And they released a whole cadre of good articles today. Make sure you give them some traffic over at TradingView.com. All right. So now let's move on to this article here. This is on beincrypto.com. Robust job vacancies suggest Fed keeps up pressure. I think the Fed needs to keep up pressure just to bring down inflation as a whole. There's no way that they can continue there's no way that they're not going to either maintain rates or raise rates. They have to. But let's read this little tidbit here. The number of job vacancies in the U.S. economy remain little changed from October. Yes, but they're manipulated. The numbers are manipulated. Any warehouse at any time can easily say, hey, let's put out 30 more job openings today. They could have always done that. It skews the numbers a bit. And they know that. Look, a lot of these different warehouses, I'm just using them as an example. A lot of these different warehouses are going to do that because they know there's been mass layoffs. Mass layoffs. There have been mass layoffs happening all the last half of last year. These institutions know that. Warehouses know that. So then at those times, they know people need quick money. They know people need jobs. So they're going to put out those openings. So then, like I said, it muddies the water. It skews the numbers. And that's just one example. The robust number of job openings suggests wages are still rising. But you just had data that said that wage growth has stopped. You had legit data that said that. What was that, in November, December? I mean, the information is so flip-floppy. Suggests wages are still rising and contributing to inflation. requiring continued pressure from the Fed. The Fed needs to add the pressure no matter what. You don't need an excuse. Just do it. Do it. Bring inflation down. Do it. Because you didn't include the numbers when it comes to, what was it? They negate energy and, it was energy and food or something like that. They negate those when they're talking about the numbers. So then the numbers look better than what they really are. Just do what you have to do, Fed. Holy smokes. The number of job openings was little changed from 10.51 million in October, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the course of November, the number of hires and total separations also changed a little at 6.1 million and 5.9 million, respectively. The figure was higher than estimates from a Bloomberg survey of economists and above the 10 million forecast of FactSet. So, like I said, this article is on beincrypto.com. There's a lot more to this here. If you want to read the rest of it, make sure you visit beincrypto.com. They're doing a great job over there. Make sure you support these individuals, give them some traffic. So, now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.